Hi, thanks for spending a little time with me today. I'm going to look at a solo in the second trumpet part from Bartok's Miraculous Mandarin. Now, for those of you who know the piece, you probably know exactly what I'm going to play. For those of you who don't, please keep an open mind. Bartok is an amazing composer, and this is an extremely exciting piece, a very vivid and kind of wild piece of music. You'll hear a little bit of the wild stuff today. I'll just go ahead and play some of it, see what I can do with it today, and then talk about some of the things that you need to keep in mind if you're actually preparing this piece for a performance or an audition. Here we go. So this is before rehearsal number 67, about 3 bars is where the solo starts. And it goes on from there. And there was a lot of music before that. So when you play an excerpt like this, or if you're preparing it, you really don't get the idea of what it's like to play it in the orchestra. It's a totally different experience. And it's a totally different experience playing in the orchestra day after day. And this is just one piece on one concert that one week, and then the next week you have a whole bunch of different stuff. And it can be anything. And that's what's so interesting about the job, is that there's such an incredible variety of music that you get to play. Some people think it's boring. I used to think that it would be boring, and I found out, no, it's not. It's extremely exciting because you have to prepare stuff like this and be able to have it ready to go, performance ready, recording ready. For me, I'm just, as you know, flipping through the excerpt book and seeing what I can find, and I saw, oh, yeah, I definitely ought to record this. But I would be doing a lot of preparation on this piece in order to get it ready for the first rehearsal. So you can really get into the music when you get together with the band. Okay, what are some things that people deal with? There are a couple right off the bat. There's a little passage, and you heard me play it. I'm going to put the mute back in and play this passage. Now that gives a lot of people problems, and I'm not going to get into the physical technical reasons why that is, but it's very interesting because it's kind of just basic trumpet stuff. We're going from the middle register to above the staff, and when you do that, there's a tendency to kind of push a little bit. Maybe you're trying to drive the air a little bit harder than you should. In order to control it, your body tightens up. Maybe your throat will tighten up a little bit, maybe a little bit extra mouthpiece pressure. For some reason, whatever that is, you get out of balance. So one of the things you can do positively is just play this slowly and listen to the quality of every note. And if you need to, there are some fingering things that you can do that can help a lot of people significantly. So the way it's written, let me play it again and you'll see what I'm saying. Ti 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 da da di da di da da di da da di da 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 da. So I have lip slurs. So I have an E to G lip slur in the middle. That's what makes it difficult for most people when they're having trouble with this. That's usually the cause. But there's something else going on which is really kind of interesting. Dun 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 da da dee da da da. Now I'm just gonna let you listen to her. 1, 2. Let's see. Dun dun da. So when you get to the next bar, you see I have a finger moving on every single note. That helps you to feel the rhythm. But if you, I didn't show you very well, but dee 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 ba dee dee da ba dee 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 ba dee 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 dee. That's where you have the lip slur. So you don't have motion with the fingers on every note. And that makes it feel a little bit less secure because your fingers are actually giving you the rhythm. You're actually making the rhythm physically when you're doing it. So there's a little trick that you can try. I try not to rely on these tricks. I try and practice it every way. And if it one way feels difficult, I just work on it until I improve it. And then I feel more confident because I can do it in a lot of different ways. But for a performance, you have to say, okay, I'm going to do it this way. And if you're in a hurry, this is a real good way to solve the problem. And it actually solves two problems at the same time, which is always good. So if I use... I actually play the G with the 1 and 2. Now that doesn't make any sense, but it does when you look at the finger pattern. Dun dun da ba di ba di ba di ba da ba di ba di ba di ba da ba di ba di ba di ba da. That's a more symmetrical finger pattern. Do ba di ba di ba di ba da instead of da ba di da 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 ba di 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 di. Yeah, that's more difficult. Also, you get rid of the lip slur. Now, granted, the G played with 1 and 2 is a flat 7, playing the natural partial on the horn, and that's going to be low on the instrument. But most people are already pushing the pitch high when they go to the G. You see, there's a lot of detail in here, a lot of complexity. This is what you learn from trying to figure out how to get the job done at the highest level possible. You just got to come up with a solution. It might not be the final solution, it might not be the best solution, but anything that makes it more consistent, more accurate. Don't think that it's wrong. Go with it. So some of you might be using first and second on the E. That works. A lot of times you'll be playing first and second all the time on the E on a C trumpet. If you're doing that, you just created another lip slur between the C sharp and the E because they're both 1 and 2, right? So you got to figure a way to work around these little problems. Now I just kind of did a deep dive into basically one bar in the piece, but that's the bar that gives most people problems. Okay, let's look at another spot. Another spot that gives people problems is you're playing with a mute and you're playing it in a low register. So you've just done that very exciting, very intense music, and then you get to 68, and at 68, and you're supposed to crescendo. So you may already be honking on those low A's as loud as you can, and then you figure, well, where do I have any room to go? Don't get in your head about this. This is not about measured decibels. This is about a sensation that the music is going someplace. Yeah, try and crescendo, work out the details. I don't think I did very much there. In order to allow yourself to crescendo, you can back off a little bit, and then you have room to go. So instead of going and just trying to smash those low A's right off the bat, find the spot. And what I like to do is, even though there's a rest in between, make sure that the breath and the face are balanced. So when I go from the C down to the low A, there's not this feeling of being in a different territory. It's right here, it's right in front of me. And that gives me a tremendous feeling of control. And I'll do what I just did. I'm going to taste the C, taste the A, make sure I have the sound, the quality of the sound, and the dynamic where it needs to be, and then get comfortable with it. And then from there, what can I do? The thing that causes the biggest problem for people is when you use the tongue too forcefully, too rigid, it backs up the air, and you need a lot of easy airflow in the low register. Now, a lot of people go, you're pressurizing the air behind the tongue. Now that's okay as long as it's the right pressure. If you're going and overblowing, that will make it feel really insecure. So I'm just mentioning a few of the physical ingredients. So if you're working on this, it'll give you a way to get a handle on it, because you may be doing some of these things and not realize it. It's just a matter of being aware. Now, there's a lot of rhythm stuff going on here too. And when we get to 69, we started at, it depends on the interpretation of the conductor, but it seems to me that it seems a little bit heavier here, and it says marcatissimo. That's interesting because you're playing a slur. Where's the marcato? Marcato means clearly delineated. What's that? It's the rhythm. And the rhythm comes through the articulation, and the articulation is the way you're slurring the notes. Di, ta, 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 ta. It's highly syncopated. So, and there's also, at the end, articulation with the vowels. So, di, di, and there's also breath emphasis. So all these are things that I tried to show you a little bit there that you can do in order to bring out the music. In other words, you're not playing it just that won't cut it. It doesn't have the right energy. This is a piece with a lot of violence in it. And in this place, it's a little bit like a dance. Like I said, wild. That's probably the best word that I can think of to describe it. So I hope that little brief journey into a small section of Miraculous Mandarin by Bartok it was interesting for you. And again, this gives you a chance to practice some things that you may not do in your normal everyday playing in terms of qualities of sound, articulation, dynamic control, and so forth. So I hope that helps you a little bit, and I hope you're enjoying your practice. I'll catch you later on when you have some time. Bye-bye.